But I had already heard about this man. I'd already heard about this man before I ever heard Tana Mongeau saying she had paid him $60,000
I've been seeing clips of Buzz Mingin resurfacing because he was Justin Bieber's life coach, and obviously during all this Diddy stuff, like clips of Justin Bieber being vulnerable or intimate about his mental health are going viral. And for those of you who don't know, there was a point in my life where I was just at a very, very, very low place in life all around. Like I thought I was going to die and I wanted to die. I didn't have anything figured out, you know? So I eventually decided I want a life coach. And I watched Justin Bieber's documentary, I think it's called Journals, and it's on YouTube. And in this series, he had a life coach named Buzz Mingin. And I see this man and I'm like, oh my God, that's what I need.
I was told that he had zero credentials to be giving any sort of like psychiatric advice or therapy or anything of the sort.
$60,000 a month. $60,000 a month.
And your manager allowed you to do that at the time?
I talked about this extensively. I did like a 5-hour long live stream. Y'all need to go watch it. I talked about this web extensively. I talked about Buzz Mingin extensively. I knew about him through another way. I knew about Buzz Mingin through another way. And it was two different connections with Aura. Three. First of all, he treated Amanda Rabb, and that was public. That was made public on Lima's Instagram account. She had posted thanking him for donating his time. Okay. Then also she went on this podcast. Lima went on Buzz Mingin's podcast, Get Buzzed, which we're going to talk about in just a second. There was also this picture, which we'll get to last. Okay, so this podcast, first of all, you know we do a timeline over here on this channel. This podcast, first of all, it aired at a peculiar time, in my opinion. The date that it was published was in June 2021. But clearly, by the way that they are talking in the podcast, in the interview, they had filmed it way before it came out. Because in the interview, Lima talks about a patient that she's working with named Amanda Rabb, who we have a playlist about over here if you're interested. But Amanda Rabb tragically did pass away in May 2021.
Oh my God! What the fuck? Oh! Oh my God!
The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
So we do have a pretty good understanding of the timeline of like what was going on with Amanda Rabb and things that were happening with her and where she was at certain times and things. During the podcast interview, Lima is talking about Amanda Rabb, and she says that she had been sober for about 3 months.
Right now, we have a patient named Amanda who was going through a tough time. She was homeless on Skid Row and addicted to crack cocaine, and she was basically on the verge of dying. She wouldn't have lasted another 2 months on the street. So we put her into the program, and we've been fundraising for her. And at present, she's at a treatment center. She's 3 months sober, and she's doing really well. You had the pleasure of speaking with her and doing an analysis.
Correct. And
yeah.
Which means that it is more likely than not, this interview was filmed in 2020.
So here you are. You are free from jail.
Yeah, 3 months I spent.
And yeah, it's been 3 months. Now you're in a rehab.
Yeah.
Kind of on the outskirts of LA.
Yeah,
out in the suburbs.
Claremont.
So you've been clean for, you think how long?
I've been clean for like probably 11 or 10 months.
Okay, so it's interesting that it didn't get actually put out on Get Buzz podcast until June 2021 because Amanda had already passed away by that point, right? So if the interview would have been put out, you know, before Amanda passed away, it would have made sense. But it was like Amanda passed away and then a month goes by and then they put out this podcast, and in the podcast, they're talking about Amanda as if she's still alive and she actually had passed away. So it just, you know, it indicates to me that they held off on posting this for a while, and I don't know why. Okay. Like I said, I covered this extensively on my other channel, so I'm not going to get into all of the details. It's like almost an hour long. It's a lot of revelations, you know, in that podcast interview. But I'm going to point to some of the highlights here. First of all, around the 4-minute 30-second mark, we have Buzz Mingin saying to Lima, quote, "You and I spend quality time together, really trying to build this company so people can benefit from this really sophisticated toolbox."
You know, you and I spend quality time together, you know, really trying to build this company so people can, enjoy and benefit from this really sophisticated toolbox.
Okay, so this was, news to me. Who knew? Put a I knew comment down below if you knew Buzz Mingin, quote, spent a lot of quality time together with Lima, really trying to build this company, meaning Aura, so people can benefit from it. Who knew? Put a I knew in the chat if you knew. Put a I did not know if you did not know, because I did not know. Interesting to me. But then I start putting that together with the fact that Buzz Mingin, wait a second, he helped Lima build Aura and he was doing assessments, medical assessments also on Amanda as a patient who was receiving court-ordered Aura. That's interesting for me to find that out. Did you know that?
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Daniel Amen. I am going to talk to you for the next few minutes on brain SPECT. SPECT basically tells us three things: good activity, too little, or too much. And then our job is to balance the brain.
So SPECT imaging. So when I first learned and was being trained in SPECT imaging, it was just a foreign language to me. Because the traditional system of care in psychiatry doesn't have this type of evidence. As I'm learning it, I'm suspicious as to why, every psychiatric center or mental health clinic is not using this type of evidence.
Google SPECT imaging, brain SPECT imaging, and look at what a healthy brain looks like and what a brain looks like when you have a drug addiction or alcohol addiction. And what those scans show is brain activity and blood flow. And so you're going to see that the brain of someone who's using a substance looks like Swiss cheese, so it has a bunch of holes in it. Those holes are not real holes in your brain. They're just where blood does not flow. And basically, if you look up a SPECT image of somebody's brain, what you're going to see is that there's going to be a bunch of little holes in those images. And what those images show is that's not actual holes in your brain. It basically shows where blood flow does not go and where brain activity is.
I'm only quoting him because I don't want to get blamed for saying something that I'm quoting. But that's shocking to me. Like, that seems interesting. That's what I was asking. Do you find that interest? Is that a point of interest that he was also treating Amanda Rabb and doing an assessment on Amanda Rabb and getting shout out, thank you at Buzz Mingin, but he's also admitting publicly on his own podcast, quote, you and I, to Lima, you and I spend quality time together, really trying to build this company. That's interesting to me. So then we only have to wait about 30 seconds before the next interesting point. Buzz talks about how he met Lima a little bit. I mean, we don't get that many details, but we do get some specifics. It's, Buzz says and we're going to put the clip in here. We'll put it in here. I don't know how the audio will be, but it's going in here because we need to show y'all he said it, not me. He said he met her because he needed a, quote, software partner, and she needed a, quote, content person who understood mental health and had the same passion.
I think your story, Lima, is just overwhelmingly incredible. I mean, I just have so many questions to ask you, but thanks for coming on. Thank
you so much for having me, Buzz.
So I want everyone to know this kind of uniqueness about our story here. You ready? So I built a model that would identify college students and train them on brain health. And it also flags people who are at risk for being ill and, and gives them tools for what to do and et cetera, et cetera. But I just couldn't find the right software partner. I needed a strategic partner who was just really bright and sophisticated in software. And then you had all this software and you needed this content person that really understood mental health and had your same passion. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, and not only understood mental health, but looked at it in a unique way, because a lot of traditional medical professionals will just resort to what the textbook treatment is in a one-size-fits-all. And a lot of times when you go to a therapist, they're most likely to diagnose you with what they're most comfortable treating. So misdiagnosis is absolutely rampant in mental health.
So he needed somebody to build the software for what he wanted. And she needed somebody who had What is a content person?
And you needed this content person that really understood mental health and had your same passion.
So I don't know what that really means, but a minute and a half goes by and Buzz Mingin reiterates that they are partners in this. He says, quote, "Could you find a better match? Let's be honest."
What we do and also scale what you do as well.
Yeah, I mean, could you find a better match? I mean, let's be honest. I mean,
No.
Then they talk about they both do martial arts.
And we had the same martial art, kind of passion, which I felt, I just found that so unique. Like, what are the chances that...
Yeah, that was the first thing that we bonded about.
Hi, my name is Dr. Buzz Mingin. I'm a master black belt.
And they both have mentally ill sisters. Y'all remember them twins?
Hey everyone, this is our new YouTube channel.
And they really bond over that. They really talk about the trauma they experienced from having a mentally ill sister a lot during the podcast.
And then I have a sister who has significant mental health issues that I've worked my whole life in collaboration with my family to heal, as you did. I mean, am I right?
Yeah, so I think that, a lot of times people will feel sorry for people that have difficult stories. But I think for you and I, it gave us a lot of purpose and so much drive. And it's going to end up helping so many people in the long run. So I'm actually very grateful for it.
Then Buzz, around the 7-minute, 20-second mark, says, "We are about to change the world." They were about to change the world, girl.
And I'm grateful to, work with you because we are about to change the world.
And he also said, quote, "Be prepared, everybody, because our product is coming."
So all you people who are listening to this, be prepared because our product is coming. It's very close to being launched.
He says that they're close to launching the product, which he described as our product, for a company that he, quote, really tried to build, quote.
And if it wasn't for Lima, I have to say that my energy would be dipping a little bit. But Lima, you're like a case of Red Bull and a shot of like adrenaline. I mean, you just kind of keep going. I'm not quite sure what your secret, formula is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is still out there, public. And then there's one other thing. I mean, probably more than one, but another thing that I definitely wanted to mention is that Lima is talking in this video about the mental health stigma, which she never defines, but I assume it means something like, people stigmatize and treat differently in some way folks that have a mental illness or something, if they find out that someone has a mental illness or something like that. And that's true. There are stigmas. I mean, that's exactly how the conservatorship or jail model works so well, is that you tell somebody's schizophrenic and you can pretty much, the cops will let you bring them somewhere. Like I say, because of that is a stigma. So yeah, she's right. I mean, she's right about the stigma, but she's like, up until like last year, and we'll put the quote in here, up until like last year, for the first 3 years, when people would ask about my sisters, because I was so embarrassed and the mental health stigma, I would say they're on vacation or they're doing their own thing because I didn't want people to find out.
For the first 4 years, up until last year, when people would ask me, "Oh, where are your sisters?" I would tell them that, "Oh, they're traveling, they're busy, they have their own thing going on." Because of the mental health stigma, I was very embarrassed about what was going on.
So she's saying she's still stigmatized mental health, even into wanting to start a mental health company. Because she had said that she wanted to be in the mental health field the whole time. Like all these 360 experiences, all this other stuff she was doing, all the time in her mind, she said on the Buzz Mingin podcast, all the time in her mind, she was like, I want to get into the mental health field. I'm just trying to get my resume up. I'm trying to get my experience up, right? All the while she's thinking that, and she's also simultaneously so embarrassed and so hasn't worked through her own stigmatizing of mental health that she's concealing the truth from people who ask her where her sisters are. I mean, this right here is just like Lima admitting to being dishonest and untruthful because of that mental health stigma. And it's like, I'm not even necessarily like faulting her for that. I can absolutely understand there's many reasons why you wouldn't want to like tell all your family members' business in the streets and all of that. But like, you don't have to affirmatively come out and tell everyone about it. Like, maybe you like don't.
She also did go out and tell everybody on the streets about
their illness. That's the thing too.
Roughly within their mid-20s, they began to hear voices. They were told that they were schizophrenic, which is not the case. They were prescribed antipsychotics, misdiagnosed for about 3 years. After 3.5 years, my sisters were finally properly diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder.
That's the thing too, but it's like she's out here telling us also she's like, I was too embarrassed to tell people the truth, so I would lie. And it's like, I mean, I'm just thinking about all of the untrue statements and false statements that have come out the woman's mouth and have come in her filings and stuff. And it's just like, I cannot imagine living in a world where like it really doesn't matter if what you say is true. And where's Stigma while we're at it? Anyway, so y'all can go listen to that. It is still up. At the end of it, he says that the product was close to being launched, and it was supposed to be launched in the early 2020 and spring 2020, but that also happens to be when Amanda Rad passed away, so I wonder if that kind of slowed down the whole production or whatever. I really don't know. So there's that whole podcast piece of it, and then there's the final little piece of evidence that I had already known about Buzz Mingin before Tana Mongeau ever mentioned this $60,000 thing, and it's this picture right here. Now, this is Lima and Buzz, and they're having some type of food. They're having a little lunch. It looks delightful. And Lima's wearing this sweatshirt that says, "Make sure your friends are okay." Okay. I have looked at this picture for years. I might have even Googled "make sure your friends are okay." I might have even looked at the website. Nothing really stood out to me because the web hadn't started webbing yet. My whole world took a topsy-turvy, upside down, whenever one of y'all put in my comment section the other day, that sweatshirt right there, and that picture I've looked at 1,000 times, it's not just some nice little slogan, no. It's from a company, and that specific sweatshirt is from a merch collab. Not with DID, no. Not with 16 Leo, no. No, not Steve-O either. Not Adam, and not Soft White Underbelly. This sweatshirt comes from a merch collab with this company and none other than Tana Marie Mojo.
They take me to this place and they like scan my brain and they can see all the trauma in your brain and what different, because trauma creates like small holes in your brain.
Get your limited edition Facts Ain't Defamation ThatSurpriseWitness TV hoodie because these ain't getting made no more. It's the last of them. So I don't even know if they got black ones left. This might be already dead stock. No, wait, what's it called? Sold out? What's it called whenever something's sold out and you never getting it again? It's in the vault. It's in the vault. We got some more new merch coming soon, but this is your last chance to get this one.
BJ investigate, she gonna find the truth. She gonna crack the case here. It's not a lie when it's paperwork. She will expose the truth. Daily updates for you. Better subscribe like I knew you would. We gotta stand for what's right. We gotta do for the good, yeah. I don't know what y'all have heard. That surprise witness got the word. We don't believe in Scientology. I do not need your mind control on me. We don't need your conservative shifts, no. We doing right, what's right for the kids. Whoa.
Y'all cannot control me. I control my own mind. You could've controlled me then. Still not in this lifetime. Can you send us down the pink angel from the heavens of truth? You don't want to debate with BJ. The studying law is what she do.